In this lesson, I will discuss about the standard deviation. For this lesson, I will want you how to find the standard deviation using the calculator and then also using the table. And thereafter, I explain the concept here, the standard deviation, and thereafter, I focus on the examples related to the concept here, the standard deviation. So our level this question, here the data below shows the results of maths test for a certain class. So here we file the results ja a maths test for a certain class. Use this data to calculate the standard deviation. So now we nyaka re calculator first or find the standard deviation. So option number 1, this is if ushumisha a Casio. Option number 1, press some mode on your calculator. And therefore after, press option number 2, which is stat, S-T-A-T. And then after option number 2, press option number 1, which is VAR. And then it will fire a table. So from there, we will choose that table, we insert the values on your data. So I'll share this one. We'll press 19, and then we'll press equal sign, and then 23, we'll press equal sign, 21, we'll press equal sign, 27, we'll press equal sign, 33, we'll press equal sign, and then 42, we'll press equal sign. The data yawo e fele check out fela, we'll press AC. And then after pressing AC on your calculator, it will want 0 on your calculator. And therefore after, we'll press a shift and then we'll press a 1. So now for the options. And then when I was on option number 4, which is VAR. And then thereafter, only the options. Only option 1, option 2, and option 3. So option 2, it's something like this one. Key mean. So if I on option number 2, you'll find 27.5. But the standard deviation, which is option number 3. So option number 3 get the standard deviation. So oppressor 3 and then oppressor equal sign. So it will find 7.91. I get round off into 2 decimal places. So this is the standard deviation using the calculator, and then this one give mean. But now we'll focus on the standard deviation. So now I want to how to find the standard deviation using the table. On this table, normally the results give this data, and then normally x minus x bar. This x key this data 19, 23, 21, 27, 33 and 42, and then this one key our mean. And then on this option normally x minus x bar and then all squared. Actually key this option right square. And then now reinsert this data your results jarena, because it says it shows the results. So it's 19, 23, order it doesn't matter, 21, 27, 33 and then 42. Remember already you can find a mean in this way without using a calculator. We add those values were 19 plus 23 plus 21 plus 27 plus 33 plus 42, and then we divide the number of values in the data set. We level only values chegai 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we divide 6, and then it will for 27.5. The same one that we create using the calculator. So from there, I go in this way, because it x minus the mean, x ke this number, so o tlo re 19 minus 27.5. So ge o ka re 19 minus 27.5 e tlo fa negative 8.5, and then wa dira the same, wa re 23 minus 27.5 e tlo fa negative 4.5, and then 21 minus 27.5 it will fa negative 6.5, and then 27 minus 27.5 it will fa negative 0.5, and then 33 minus 27.5 it will fa 5.5, and then 42 minus 27.5 it will fa 14.5. And then from here we are on this option, re tlo tšea minus 8.5 ra square because it is squared here, so o tlo re negative 8.5 and then y square, ge we square it will fa 72.25, and then negative 4.5 squared you'll fa 20.25, and then negative 6.5 you'll fa 42.25, and then negative 0.5 you'll fa 0.25, and then 5.5 you'll fa 30.25, and then 14.5 it will fa 210.25, and then now re nyaka go find the sum, re nyaka go find the total. Re tlo add these values kaofela 72.25, why add everything until 210.25. So ge o ka add these numbers kaofela di tlo fa total ya 375.5, and then from there ra shumisha formula ya the standard deviation, e re ke the sum ya x minus x bar all squared and then divide by n, and then all inside the root. So this one ke this total ra we kry here, so re la gore re na le 375.5 divided by n, so n ke the number of values in our data set, so re na le 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then re tlo re divide by 6, and then after ra e ka raga root, so the answer it will fa the same 7.91. so ke the standard deviation ge re shumisha a table. And then now let's discuss the concept of the standard deviation. What is a standard deviation actually? Standard deviation is an important tool that is used for comparison, more especially when compare the results. Let's say for example re na le two classes, re na le class ya A and then re na le class ya B. Let's say the learners in this class ya A ba phasa ka di 100 and then also ba phasa ka di 10. So what I'm saying gore the learners in this class ba kry di 100 and then also ba bangwe ba kry di 10. And then let's say in this class ya B the learners ba kry di 70. So majority of the learners or everyone in this class ba phasa ka di 70. So now re nyaka compare these results, and then let's say for class A ge re find the average, the mean, re kry gore ke 75%, and then let's say ge re find the mean for this class, again let's say the average is 75%. So now what can you say in terms of the performance? O ka re class A is better than class B, or o ka re class B is better than class A. You will say class A and class B di perform o tshwana based on their average. So now ge re na le this situation whereby the mean or the average is no longer an important thing to compare, re tlo šomiša the standard deviation, because as you can see the average ga re thushe ka selo for this comparison. So now re tlo šomiša the standard deviation. Ge re nyaka the standard deviation ya B, yo re fa, let's say e re fa the small standard deviation, let's say ke 1.4, and then ya class A re tlo kry-a ya greater than ya B, let's say e re fa something like 5.7. Every time ge o na le two classes whereby go na le di results tše e le gore ga di differe gole, for example o ka kgona go bona gore these results they are more or less the same, but as for this one o ka kgona go bona gore di more separate. I can say these results there is less variation. Ge ke re the less variation ke no rela gore di results tša gona ga di fapane gole, kore they are more or less the same, and then this one there is more variation. Rela gore di results tša gona di kgaogane kudu. So now ge re ya šomiša the standard deviation re lo kry-a gore the class that has the less variation, standard deviation e yo ba se senyane, and then the class ye le gore it has more variation, the standard deviation e yo ba se segolo. So now comparing these results we can say this class is more reliable and then more consistent. So you cannot rely on these learners. Let's say for example re nyaka choose the random learners, re no kgetha 5 learners in class A and then re kgetha 5 learners in class B ba ile represent the school. Ge re choose randomly o ka no choose the learners ba ile gore ba passa ka 10, so ba ya represent the school, and then in here wa choose the learners ba ile gore ba passa ka di 70 ba ile represent the school. It's clear gore these learners in B ba ile dira much better than these learners because these learners ba passa ka 10. So that is why re šomiša the standard deviation, and then re kgona go bona gore which class is more reliable and consistent. So e rela gore ge re šomiša the standard deviation, class B is much better than class A, but ge o lebeletše average o tlo re they are the same. So now o ka kgona go bona gore the standard deviation se important ko kae. So every time if re na le less variation e rela gore the standard deviation so ba less, and then ge re na le more variation e rela gore the standard deviation so ba high. And then this one ke summary ya everything be ke tla go e tlhalosa. The small standard deviation indicator gore the items in the data are clustered closely around the mean. Ge ke re they are clustered ke no rela gore di gaufi le gaufi, like the results o kry-e le gore di 70, 69, 70, 70. So o ka kgona bona gore these results are clustered. So ge le gore these results are clustered di more closer together e rela gore ro ba le the small standard deviation. Ge ke re they are closely around the mean ke no rela gore let's say re na le these results, and then o ka kgona bona di range around 70, 69 to 70. Ge re ka calculate the mean wa these results ro kry-a gore it's something like 68 or 70. The results tša gona di no ba closer to this mean, so that is something important. And then re kwane gore ge re na le the small standard deviation e rela gore the variation is very small, ke ntho ke tlhalosago here, and then e rela gore this class is consistent and reliable, e rela gore the performance is more or less the same. And then now a re lebelele when the standard deviation is high. e no rela gore the items in the data set are scattered, like ba bangwe ba kry-a 100 and then ba bangwe ba kry-a 10. O ka kgona bona gore there is a gap here, so e rela gore the variation is small and then e rela gore the class is inconsistent and reliable. So this information is very important in the exams because sometimes o tlo answera the questions tša gago o šomiša these words. A re lebelele di questions tša lore di related to this concept. This question is from one of the past exam papers. This question recalculates the standard deviation of the following two data sets. So ba re file two data sets here, ba re file ya set A and then ya set B. So re nyaka go find the standard deviation. Re tlo šomiša a calculator here to find the standard deviation. E ge o ka šomiša calculator o find the standard deviation ya set A, e tlo go fa gore ke 1.4, and then the standard deviation ya set B e tlo go fa gore ke 19.97. Now this question area use the two standard deviations to compare the distribution of data in the two sets. Mo re nyaka go tseba gore ge re na le standard deviation se senyane se re botša eng in terms of our data distribution, or ge re na le standard deviation se segolo, because re kwane gore ge re na le the small standard deviation re la gore re na le a data mo e le gore they are more closer together, but ge re na le the standard deviation e le se segolo re la gore the data items are more spread out. So this question re answer in this way. The larger standard deviation in group B indicates that the data items are generally much further from the mean than the data items in group A, and then this means that the data items in group B are more spread out than the data items in group A. So again to re tlhalosa gore ge o na le the small standard deviation e rela gore the data items are more closer together, but ge o na le the high standard deviation e rela gore your data items are more spread out. So ke ka mokgwa re answerang this question. And then now a re lebelele this question. As part of the census at school, learners had to record the length in centimeters of their right foot without shoe. The girls and boys in grade 11C measured their foot length and recorded the results in the table below. So here ke the length ya girls and then this one ke ya boys. This question ya part A area, use your calculator to determine the mean and standard deviation of the foot length of the boys and girls. So now let's find the mean and the standard deviation ya the girls. Re tlo šomiša calculator. Mean wa girls o re fa gore ke 24.8, and then the standard deviation ke 3.1, and then mean wa boys ke 26.1, and then the standard deviation ke 2.6. So now what level the next question? Use the mean and the standard deviation of the foot length to comment on the differences in foot sizes of the two groups. So now a re lebelele in terms of the mean. A re lebelele mean wa girls and boys. Mean wa girls ko monyane ge ko compare le wa the boys. Remember mean e re botša ka the average. So e re la gore the average size ya girls is less than ya the boys, because average o ka kgona bona gore ya boys ke kgolo and then e feta ya the girls. So now wa re lebelele the standard deviation. Ge o lebelela the standard deviation ya the girls ke kgolo e feta ya the boys. So re a tseba standard deviation actually so re botša more importantly about the distribution, gore the size tša gona di kgaogane bjang. So this question we answer in this way. The mean of the girls is less than that of the boys. This means that the foot length of the girls are less than the foot lengths of the boys, because ka kgona bona gore average size ya girls ke nyane e feta ke ya the boys. However, the foot lengths of the boys are more closely grouped together than of the girls due to its small standard deviation. Because ka kgona bona gore the standard deviation ya boys ke nyane e re botša gore their size are more closely together, and then because ya girls ke kgolo e re botša gore the foot length of the girls are more spread out. So ke ka mokgwa re answerago these kind of questions. So in the exam, if question e ka re calculate the standard deviation, o tlo šomiša a calculator, because the only time o ka šomišago the table ke ge le gore ba go file table, and then o tlo tshwanela ke gore o fill up some questions based on that table. So now you must use a calculator by find the standard deviation. And then another thing ke nyaka go add based on the calculations. Remember the standard deviation se lekana le the sum ya x minus x bar all squared divided by n. So this one ke formula ya the standard deviation re discuss it already. And then now re na le again a formula ya the variance or the variation. So ge re nyaka go calculate the variation, re no square this one. So now the formula ile in this way e rela gore ke ya the variation, but ge se na squared ke the standard deviation. So let's say o na le the standard deviation sa gago gore ke 1.2, and then question ya re calculate the variance or the variation, wena o tlo no square both sides, and then the answer eo ya go kry-a ke variation. Or again, let's say ba file the variation gore ke 2.4, and then question ya re o find the standard deviation, e rela gore wena o tlo no square both sides, and then wa kry-a the standard deviation. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial.